Don't laugh at me, but maybe we could be each other's soulmates. And then we could let men be just these great, nice guys to have fun with. Well, that sounds like a plan.
Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because today we're diving into some topics that just mean so much to me. Okay, now listen, when I was younger, Sex in the City never really hit with me. I thought it was just like a girlfriend's knockoff. I'm sorry, don't judge me, that's how I felt, but baby, now watching it as a grown woman, let's just say I have some thoughts, okay? I got some things, okay? So grab a drink, get comfortable. Let's talk about how these four women made some of the worst decisions when it came to men. Okay, let's talk about it. The first person I want to get into is Samantha. Okay, she's the real MVP. She's my girl. Okay, now let's start with my absolute favorite, Samantha. Okay,
So you don't need a man, but do you still want one? Oh, honey, I want more than one. Men do this all the time. Women walk around thinking we, and their version of we is me and my dick. We're as fucked up as you are. It's like the blind leading the blind. I will snap her. I will put her over my knee and I will snap her like a twig. Hello?
It's over. I told my wife.
Who is this? Oh, I don't have a baby! Everybody drink! There is no having of the Steve. We're just friends. No, we're just friends. I don't put my dick in you. I don't believe in the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I just believe in parties. I find the higher the number, the worse the sex. I went out with somebody the third who couldn't even get it up. I support you, and honey, these bitches need to be put in their places. I'm a trisexual. I'll try anything once. Don't bust my balls here, Mitch. You call yourself a fucking headhunter, then get me a decent assistant. If you want to say something about me, say it to my face. They're just jealous. They're a bunch of dried up old farts who haven't had sex since Eisenhower, and I remind them of what they can't have. You men have no idea what we're dealing with down there. Teeth placement, and jaw stress, and suction, and gag reflex, and all the while bobbing up and down, moaning, and trying to breathe through our noses. Easy? Honey, they don't call it a job for nothing. How many sexual partners have you had? I'm counting.
now out of all the girls, she was the most self-aware, the most open-minded, the only one who didn't let men define her, tell her who she was. She just was completely aware of who she was. Okay, Samantha did what she wanted. She just already had her stuff figured out. Okay, she just decided who she wanted, what she wanted to do with them. She just did what she did and never apologized for it. Okay, she was also the only one who dated outside of her race. Okay,
Hey, what's up, genius?
Well, Genius's overtired ass is dragging all over this food restaurant. Oh, Aunt Alice and her friends are leaving now in case you want to go pay your respects.
Our favorite aunt. I introduce you.
No. Aunt Alice is out the door already. You go, and I'll sit here and talk with Samantha. What's going on between you and my brother? What do you mean? Well, you've been in here together 2 or 3 times. Well, we're dating. Why? So you're not just fucking? Well, not that it's any of your business, but no, we're not just fucking. We actually really like each other. No, I don't want you seeing my brother. Excuse me? I don't approve. But you don't even know me. Let's not get all personal here. I'm sure you're a very nice person, but you're white. And I have a problem with my only brother getting serious with a white woman.
but she gave that black man a chance. Okay, Charlotte was out here just being low-key racist.
Maybe you should stop saying him, Samantha. Race is a very big issue. No, there is no reason to bring race into this. Siobhan is a sweet man. We have great sex, and he happens to have the biggest black cock we know. He has a big black cock. I was about to say biggest heart. But now that you're so interested, yes, he does have a big black cock. It's big African-American cock. Right, Charlotte? Don't make fun of me.
We not gonna front like Charlotte was not racist. Okay, Charlotte was racist, and Carrie, don't even get me started with Carrie. Okay, because Carrie, child, this girl just pissed me off. Okay, pissed me off. But we gonna get into it. Okay, now Charlotte, the pretty, she was pretty, she was just tradition and all of that. She just had that, it was something about everything that she possessed. Okay, now Charlotte was young, beautiful, and honestly the most traditionally feminine out of the group. She just had her stuff figured out. Okay, but she was also the most judgmental. Remember when she got all in her feelings, because Samantha slept with her brother?
Charlotte taking Samantha home, which is never good when you do, by the way.
Never goes well.
I mean, she slept with your brother that
I know,
other episode,
very
which
bad.
is, by the way, one of the big missteps of the entire series.
I
She
am
slept
with
your
you.
brother. That shouldn't have
That
happened.
was very confusing.
I'm sorry, but you cannot talk about Sex and the City without talking about the tension, the platonic tension between Charlotte fucking York and Samantha fucking Jones. Their frenemy ship, it's the best to do it. They are the best frenemies of all time. It's iconic, it's legendary, it's unforgettable, and it's underrated. It is underrated, and it's time that we dissect this, and it's time that we analyze this, and it's time that we fully yap about this because it's important. You know what I mean? If you want to be my lover, you have to get with my friends, right? Charlotte York and Samantha Jones. So, what people don't understand about Charlotte and Samantha is that on the surface, you might think that they don't like each other. But the reality is that they simply mirror each other. And when you meet someone that, mirrors you, it means that they trigger you. You see each other. Why is that? Because it's the difference between Taurus and Libra. And y'all know I'm going to make it about the astrology because that's what I'm going to fucking do. But Samantha Jones is very Taurus rising. Charlotte York is very Libra rising. And period. Now, when these two women did agree on something, when they did maximize their joint slay, it was iconic. I mean, it was truly like the strength that they would exude together. Why? Because both of these women have an incredibly strong personality. And not only just that, they have a strong set of standards. And that is very Venusian behavior. That is why Venusians are very hard to impress romantically, because they have very strong sets of standards. You are not going to break that wall down unless you are like the one, right? Unless you are Harry or Smith, you are not going to break those walls down. Now, they both have a strong sense of standards, they both have a strong sense of self, and they both have a bit of a wall up. And it does take a lot for them to kind of disintegrate this idea of how their relationships are supposed to be. Samantha does not want to sacrifice her identity. She does not want to sacrifice her sense of self. She doesn't want to sacrifice this self-sufficient way of being and this self-sufficient independence that she spent so long creating for herself. Because she's an Aries, right? And Aries, one thing they gonna do is be the first at something. They want to be the first. They want to go it alone. They enjoy that Aries energy, that Ram energy. It's like you can get in their way and they will actually really enjoy it because they love to be given a reason to shut shit down and force you out of their fucking way. So move or be moved, period. And so that is how Samantha worked the dating scene. Like, she was fucking ruthless, right? And that's why everyone loves her. She has an exalted sun because she really relishes in this idea and in this sense of having a strong ego. She likes a strong ego. She feels very comfortable in her body, in her sense of self. And that can also be seen in the types of men she's attracted to. She likes a man with a strong ego. All of the men that she met before Smith, it's like very much like these egotistical men. She's very, very attracted to power. And so, you know, that's why lots of people are attracted to Samantha, because she has this confidence and she exudes this confidence that almost seems like this ideal. It almost seems impossible to reach. But it's like, I truly think everyone has a Samantha inside of them that is really just waiting to be released. I do not think that you can just be a Samantha because she's not a real person. However, I do feel like we all have a Samantha in us that we need to unlock at some point in our lives. Like, your 20s and your 30s are just like the time to do it. Honestly, play around and experiment with that almost delusional sense of confidence. Like, it's really kind of fun to try on. Very, very Aries. Both of these women can actually be very, very delusional. And it's very Aries Pisces. And that's why they kept triggering each other. Because it's like they just had very different ways of doing the same things, right? Because at the end of the day, Charlotte, being a Pisces woman, she has, you know, this way, like, and that's what makes her an easy target. She's a Pisces sun, Pisces moon. All of the other women would like kind of make her a bit of the black sheep. They would kind of steamroll her and try to make her feel crazy or ridiculous for wanting the things that she wanted. But ultimately, there was nothing wrong with what Charlotte wanted. She just needed to release herself from a lot of the expectations that she had. And she had to realize that it's not going to look exactly how you envisioned it, right? And that's really what Harry does for Charlotte, is he allows her and he kind of breaks her away from these kind of self-inflicted shackles that she's placed on herself. And that really can be seen through her relationship with Trey. I mean, you know, and the thing with Charlotte is she puts in the work. She puts in the blood, sweat, and tears. She went through that entire relationship with Trey, and she cashed in her good karma when she got that damn apartment. When she got that damn apartment, I was like, this is a very Capricorn Venus woman. Very Capricorn Venus behavior. So for Charlotte, she has to realize that at the end of the day, being delusional can actually get you very far. And that's something that I freaking love about Pisces, is that one thing a Pisces gonna do is get the last freaking laugh. You can tell them that they're being delusional, they've got the rose-colored glasses on, they're not being realistic. But at the end of the day, it's like they have the vision. They are visionaries. Both Aries and Pisces are visionaries. And when they stick to it and remain open-minded, that is what gets them very far. And Charlotte very much exudes that energy. And I think that it can also be very intimidating. So I think that's another similarity between these two women, is that they're both very intimidating. Because Charlotte also has this sense of confidence in who she is. She knows what she likes. She's very put together. That can be very intimidating. On the other hand, Samantha's very confident in her sexuality, right? In her relationships, in her dominance, right? It's very Aries, right? Charlotte does the same thing, but just in a more softer way. And so that's why I think that these two had they're both very strong personalities. And I think sometimes they really clashed, they butt heads. But I do think that they had this kind of love for each other, like this unspoken respect, unspoken love for each other, and an unspoken understanding between each other that was simply it just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside when I think about it. And honestly, we deserve to see more of their friendship. I also think that Samantha, I believe, being a Sagittarius moon, she is the most open-minded out of all of the women, right? When everyone goes to her for advice, because one thing people are going to go to Sagittarius. People look at Sagittarius as being like the funny friend, the friend with advice, what have you. But something that's so underrated about Samantha is that she has a very high level of philosophical and spiritual awareness, right? And I think that she was able to bring out of the other woman this sense of inspiration and motivation to kind of go after it and think bigger, right? I feel like I see that with both of them as well, because this is a Jupiterian energy that I'm describing, and both Sagittarius and Pisces are like that. Both of these women were so needed for Carrie and Miranda because they reminded them to think bigger, to want more for themselves, right? Everyone laughed at freaking, Charlotte, because they were like, oh, there's no way you can have it all. And she wound up having it all. She had her apartment, she had her man, she had her family, she had her dog. You cannot, and then with, and I think that's how Charlotte kind of triggered the other woman, is that she simply represented what they all craved deep down. If you watch the earlier seasons, they all want their man. They all want that connection. They all want that intimacy. Charlotte just wore her heart on her sleeve. So all the other women didn't like that part of themselves, so they kind of dumped it on Charlotte. They also would do the same with Samantha. She kind of represented those urges and impulses that they all wanted, but they just didn't want to admit it. Samantha would just say what they were all thinking out loud. Both of these women, as far as I'm concerned, carried the show on their backs, and I love them both, and I hope you enjoyed.
Child, I remember that. Yes, girl, relax, okay? She basically refused to lend Carrie any money, and I'm not mad at her. Carrie was out here spending her rent money on designer shoes, and I just personally respected Charlotte for having boundaries.
And what chills me is you don't even have to work. You're volunteering. Carrie, I love you, but it's not my job to fix your finances. You're a 35-year-old woman. You need to learn to stand on your own, Charlotte.
But let's be real, she wanted marriage and babies so bad that she was willing to settle just for it. She just was settling, and I just didn't like that, okay?
Trey's here. He came with Bitsy's brother, didn't know it was Samantha's party. He's coming this way. Bye, Harry. Say bye-bye, Brady. Why do I have to see him like this for the first time? Just put your shirt back on.
What, you're ashamed of me now? This is your fault.
Just cover up, please. Cover up.
Now, Carrie, on the other hand, Carrie, the self-absorbed miss, okay? She just was self-absorbed. She was messy. She just irritated me, okay? All right, let's talk about it, okay? Let's talk about the main character, Miss Carrie Bradshaw. I don't like her. I really don't, okay? This woman pissed me off. First of all, she did Aiden so dirty, okay? She cheated. She lied. And worst of all, she dragged him into her mess when she knew she wasn't ready for, the relationship that he was ready for.
Carrie Bradshaw was the epitome of a woman addicted to struggle love. For Aiden, watching the show back, she was so freaking mean to him. Aiden is the man that every woman prays for. Tall, handsome, good with his hands, not afraid of commitment, wants to marry you, kind, sweet to you, hardworking. She treated this man like pure dirt, always yelling at him, always annoyed by him, always treating him like he didn't mean anything to her, cheating on him, turning down his proposal. Carrie is probably one of the most emotionally unstable characters I've ever seen. My thing is, you had a man that wanted to treat you good and wanted to commit to you, but you're over here chasing big, the epitome of a walking red flag. Carrie is a representation of a lot of women who are just used to the toxic love, and that's just what they think is best for them, and they cannot see when a man is good for them right in front of their faces.
And let's not forget Mr. Big, okay? The man who never actually wanted her, but only ran back to her. He had no other choice. Didn't nobody was around at that point. I'm just keeping it real. Like, he just settled for her, okay? He wanted a woman like Charlotte. But, like, Carrie was just, she just was convenient, unfortunately.
I think we all agree by now that Charlotte was Big's typical type, and I agree with this comment so much. I think he cared about Charlotte's opinion a lot more than he ever would Miranda or Samantha's. One example of this for me is when Carrie and Big were having the affair, when Big was married to Natasha and Carrie was dating Aiden, and Carrie's keeping it secret from all her friends, and then Charlotte runs into them, and the look on Big's face, and I know that if it was Miranda or Samantha that caught them, I don't think Big would have cared. He wouldn't have cared. I mean, look at the look on his face. He really cares what Charlotte thinks here, because she's normally the type of woman that he associates himself with and whose opinion he values. Like, stereotypically, she is his type in every way. The second example is in the first film, after Big jilts Carrie. Charlotte sees him sitting across the restaurant, so she runs off, and the way Big runs after her, I know some people are going to comment saying, yeah, because he wanted her best friend back. I don't think so. The way he leaped off his chair, I think if it was Miranda or Samantha, he just wouldn't have done that. I just think, basically, Charlotte is Big's typical type. He cares what she thinks, and he just values her on another level, because it's just the type of woman that he normally goes for.
So I've seen a lot of discourse on TikTok recently about how Charlotte would have been Mr. Big's true type on Sex and the City. And I just wanted to dispel that notion really quick, because Charlotte was not Mr. Big's type. I mean, visually, sure, she's a sophisticated brunette from a waspy family, but she was not his type because Charlotte had boundaries. And Mr. Big did not like women with boundaries. The entire reason that his relationship with Carrie was able to happen, let alone carry on for 10 years before they finally get married in Sex and the City, the movie, is because Carrie has no boundaries. And the thing about Charlotte is that she always liked nice guys. Every single one of her love interests on the show and in the movies, her husband, Harry, were nice men. Harry, very nice. Her first husband, Trey, despite the pee-pee issues and the Oedipal creepy mommy issues, very nice man, stand-up guy. Like, when he gives her the apartment at the end and stands up for her character in the divorce proceedings, stand-up guy. And even when she's dating around, those guys appear nice at first, and then when they're not, she gets rid of them. Like the dude in the White Knight episode who punches some guy in the face at the bar to stand up for her. She's like, oh my gosh, he's so sweet, he's my White Knight. But then when she realizes that he doesn't actually like standing up for her, he just likes punching people in the face, she stops seeing him. So Charlotte and Big, despite her visually looking like his type, that would never have happened. It would never have even been like a starter, because Charlotte would not have entertained his ass for 2 seconds. Like, I'm trying to think in terms of Carrie and Big's relationship timeline. At what point would Charlotte have dipped if she had been Carrie? And honestly, it probably would have been episode 1 or 2 of season 1. Like, remember that episode where Carrie is seeing Big and she's on a night out, and then she sees Mr. Big out too, but he's with another woman, and she's like, oh shit, we're not exclusive, and she freaks out? Charlotte would have dipped then. And honestly, Charlotte probably would not have hooked up with him, because I think Charlotte would have read all of the signs, like just his micro expressions, his tone of voice, his actions, and realized, like, this dude is not serious and he's not a good guy, and she probably would not have hooked up with him in the first place. So yeah, in sum, Charlotte was not Mr. Big's type because she had very strong boundaries and standards, and Mr. Big did not like women with boundaries and standards. And you're probably thinking, oh, but Natasha, she seemed like she had boundaries and standards. Natasha was also 26 to Mr. Big's 40-something. Like, she was naive in her own ways, which made them more at an equal playing level or closer to it. Somebody like Charlotte, who has boundaries and standards and the maturity that comes with time, that would not have been it for Mr. Big. So yeah, I'll just leave you with my favorite Mr. Big and Charlotte interaction from Sex and the City, the movie, where she runs into him when she's super pregnant, and also this is after Mr. Big has jilted Carrie, and she says, "I don't want to see you, I'm so mad at you," and then, you know, more things like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna waste tears on you." And then she says at the bottom, this is cut off, but she says, "I curse the day you were born." And I'm like, yes, thank you, Charlotte.
I know I'm hurting people's feelings because a lot of people like Carrie, but she was just convenient. And deep down, let's keep it a buck. Like, she knew that she was convenient, okay? Now, Carrie had all the makings of an independent woman, but she was obsessed with chasing men who treated her like she was an afterthought. It just was sad, okay? And not like, let's just be honest, she had money problems, okay? Sis was out here spending like crazy money on her shoes, just like, and couldn't even afford her rent. Like, come on now, make that make sense. It didn't make no sense, okay? But let's talk about Miranda. Now, Miranda, like, she just was judgmental, okay? Super judgmental, okay? Now, I know a lot of people like Miranda, but I personally felt like she was just judgmental, okay? Let's say it. Last but not least, Miranda. Now, she was successful, smart, probably the most logical out of the group, but let's be real, she was judgmental, okay? Like, basically looked down her nose at her baby daddy.
And Miranda was getting a surprise as well. What are you, fucking crazy?
That's your answer?
Why are you proposing?
I thought that's what you wanted.
I don't want to marry you, Steve.
Well, I don't want to marry you either.
What are we doing?
What? There's gonna be a baby. And I don't want to just be a guy who sees you at the playground. I want to help.
That doesn't mean we have to get married.
He definitely did, okay? He was a good man, okay? That's a good man, Savannah. You know, like, he deserved better, in my humble opinion. Like, then there was like this awkward relationship she had with the black guy. And I know I said earlier that, you know, basically Samantha was the only one that dated a black guy. Miranda dated a black guy, but it just was awkward when she did it. Miranda, like, it just was awkward. I'm gonna tell you guys why I felt that way, okay? Like, she dated the black guy, you know, but it felt like she was like trying to check off some sort of box, you know.
Yankees or Mets?
Please, Yankees.
Should have known.
And what is that supposed to mean?
On
page like, how did they completely rewrite a character's understanding of microaggressions? One tax return and a half hour of eyelash batting later. It was really nice to meet you.
You too.
And, I won't hold that Mets thing against you.
I appreciate that.
Y'all expect me to believe that yesterday's Miranda is this Miranda? Well, he's perfect. Frankly, I am concerned about his financials. His alimony payments are awfully high.
And he's never owned before.
You people are crazy.
It's the single ones who always throw the wild parties with all the girls.
Okay, I think we all know what's not being said here.
Oh, it didn't feel genuine, you know? Like, but in the end, Miranda just was like kind of like the others, you know, settled, you know, not because she was in love, but because she didn't want to end up alone. Like, she only got with that man or ended up with that man because she didn't want to be alone. So after watching this show as an adult, I realized something. Most of these women settled, okay, in one way or another. Like, society makes it seem like, you know, women just have to settle, you know, like, they try to make it seem like being alone means you're lonely. But Samantha proved that that's not true. You know, she was the only one who lived life on her terms. You know, she's the real MVP, in my humble opinion. Samantha didn't let no man play with her. She, like, loved herself. Okay, if she wanted plastic surgery, she got it. If she wanted sex with anybody, she got it. If she wanted food, she got it. If she wanted a certain bag, she got it. She was fabulous, okay? She wasn't getting like baby mamaed by nobody. Like, she wasn't ending up as a baby mom, you know? She was free in her sexuality, did whatever she want, however she want, made her own money. She was a boss, okay? Was educated, had her stuff together, okay? The rest of the girls, Carrie, I'm sorry. Because of how she did Aiden, she's gonna forever be on my ish list, okay? I don't fool with her. She was bogus as ever. I'm not forgiving that Aiden mess. I'm sorry. I might be biased in that standpoint. But Miranda, she was over here trying to front like she just accepted this man, knowing she did not accept him. She settled for him, had a baby with him, but honestly, she did not want to be with that man. She wanted somebody that like reflected her success level, honestly. And he didn't reflect that, but he was cozy and he made her feel good, so she settled for him, okay? And Charlotte, low-key racist, but, you know what I'm saying, settled in order for her to get married. And then she couldn't even have kids, which is fine because that's, you know, a common struggle that women go through. But she was super desperate for the mother, wife, like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if she really knew why she wanted it. Did she really want it because that was something she just felt right? Or did she want it because society felt like women should have it? I don't know. There's a lot to go like into, and I probably am gonna, you know, break down each character on a later date. But I just kind of wanted to briefly talk to you guys about this because I'm like, you know, just watching this now as an adult, and I'm like, okay, I didn't like it that much before, but now I see why Samantha is the bee's knees, y'all. Let me know what you think. I love you guys. Bye bye.